Hey, everybody, and thanks for joining me on another episode of Straight Jacket White Rabbit. As usual, my name's Adam, and I'll be your host. So today I'm going to be talking to you guys about the comet 3-Eye Atlas. Now, there is a lot of rumors going around about this. There's everything from doomsday prophecies to people who just dismiss it as, another comet. And everything in between. I've heard it's an alien ship. I've heard that it's some kind of a probe. I've heard that it was artificial intelligence coming to check us out. There's literally so much going on. So here's what I'm going to break down today. I don't know what this is. Obviously, I'm not. I'm not out there. I can't see it up close. I don't know. But we're going to talk about some of the oddities about 3-Eye Atlas, you guys, and why this thing has quickly become a big deal in the international community. First of all, I want to start off by saying that when this was first discovered, mainstream science was like, oh, cool, another interstellar object. No big whoop. All until Avi Loeb, the Harvard scientist, came out and said that this could be extraterrestrial in nature. Not that it is, but that it could be. He couldn't discount the fact that this thing had oddities, that it was on a very specific trajectory that was, if it's not a plotted course, it's 1 in a billion chance that it would be on this course. So it just seemed weird. And he kind of left it at that for a little bit. As this thing got closer, you guys, to us, we started noticing more and more peculiar things about this thing. It was emitting a light from the front of it. And we couldn't exactly tell what the light or where the light was coming from, like what was generating it. It didn't seem to be just your normal reflective light. It was stronger. But once again, other than Avi Loeb and a few others, very few, pretty much all of mainstream academia says, still a comet, an unusual one, but still a comet. Then it starts venting out CO2, and not just small bursts, it's patterned bursts that seem to be fairly regular in occurrence. And that kind of made some people raise an eyebrow or two, because what do our spacecrafts do? Because we exhale what? We don't exhale oxygen, carbon dioxide. So our ships have to filter that out as well. So could this thing be some kind of a ship that was simply expelling excess carbon dioxide? Now, to be fair, comets do release carbon dioxide. That's a normal trait. It really is. But it's the way that this one is doing it and the amount of carbon dioxide coming off of it that is raising red flags. This is not just, ice and things melting away, causing the gases to escape. These are bursts of CO2. Now, move along even further, and we start doing spectral analysis of the materials it's made of. Those of you who don't know, pretty much all large space rocks that we've come in contact with, not all of them, but most of them, a vast, vast majority, are predominantly iron as far as the metal content is concerned. This one, not so much. We're detecting vast amounts of nickel. Well, okay, I can understand, there being other metals in comets, still not a huge deal. But then, you guys, we came across something in our spectral analysis of this comet that really kind of set off alarm bells for not just me, but for a lot of mainstream academia. We detected something that is not a known naturally occurring substance on this comet. Okay, it's called nickel tetracarbonyl. Nickel tetracarbonyl. This is a byproduct that we see here on Earth, you guys. It's a hazardous byproduct at that, but it's a byproduct seen here on Earth from manufacturing. This is not known to occur in nature naturally. It's just not. And this opened a lot of eyes, because why is this on this comet, and why is it in such large quantities on this comet? Now, I looked into this, and the nickel tetracarbonyl is used for a wide variety of things, but one of its main uses is to nickel coat other metals, to coat them with nickel, the metal. Now, one of the things we also learned that was disturbing about 3I Atlas is the fact that it seems to be hollow, according to all indications and what we know as far as scientific laws are concerned. We have surmised, I'll say, that it's hollow. So now you have a hollow craft emitting, or a hollow comet committing, or not committing. I can't speak today. I apologize. So now we have this comet flying through closer to us day by day that is possibly hollow, emitting light, putting off jets of CO2, and that is apparently nickel plated, or possibly nickel plated. Now, I looked it up, and this could have some advantages in interstellar travel, depending on what metal is underneath this nickel that's covering this comet. There are certain perks, I'll say, that being coated in nickel would give this thing if it was some sort of a craft. So now Avi Loeb from Harvard, he's going nuts on this. He's been talking about it. A few other physicists, like Michie and a few others, have been talking about this. And they're getting really excited because this thing is doing it's not like it's doing one or two unusual things, you guys. This thing it's doing everything but tap dancing for us. It's doing such strange things that the academic community is starting to have no choice but to go, this is weird. On top of all the other things I've already listed, it also has an irregular rotation. It does not rotate the way a normal comet rotates. Now, I am not an astrophysicist. I do not understand the rotation of comets and why they do what they do. But according to, like I said, once again, worldwide mainstream academia, it has an odd rotation. Now, recently, they've just released a report back on the 22nd, I think it was, that they had actually written on the 20th of October, talking about this thing's expansion. Okay, it's expanded. It's doubled in size. Was 23.5 kilometers, now it's 47 kilometers. And I understand, you guys, that comets sometimes expand due to, the dust forming around the comet creating the coma, due to actual expansion if it gets heated up too much from the materials it's made of. There is slight expansion in comets, and that's perfectly normal. What's not normal is they're blowing this expansion off to the coma, but it's not acting like a coma. The light around this object is acting as if this is solid mass. And that can't be possible because you would have to account for over 500 billion tons of new material to be a part of this, for this to be mass instead of the coma. Or it would have had to have been an opening of a hollowed structure going outward like so and expanding outward. This is a 100% increase in size, you guys. It doubled in size. And even astrophysicists and other people in that field are saying that the way it did this, first of all, it did it asymmetrically. One side, or one part of this thing expanded while everything else didn't. They all say that this looked and appeared to be mechanical in nature. Now, does it mean that this is the shit? No, it's not that. I wouldn't consider it proof. But you can't sit here and tell me that one after another of these oddities means nothing. Something is extremely odd about Three Eye Atlas. Now, the reason I've waited so long is because honestly, I would have waited even longer, but we're about to lose sight of this thing. Starting, I believe, tonight, actually, this thing will be out of sight from all of our cameras, all of our satellites, everything else. Because of its proximity to the sun, we will not be able to actually see it again until beginning to mid-December at some point. And it's going to be really, really interesting to take a look at this thing when it comes back into view and see what trajectory it's on. Has its trajectory kept going the same way we think it's going to go if it's just a comet flying through? Has its trajectory changed? Is it coming back at us? We won't know any of these answers until close to like December 12th or so. Now, you guys, sorry about that, I have a motorcycle apparently pulling in, but you guys, I firmly believe that there is something not right with Three Eye Atlas. Not just because of its behavior, though, but because of ours. Countries around the world are not sharing openly all of their information on Three Eye Atlas. Well, why? A meteorite or a comet is not national security. A comet's not, it shouldn't be an issue to share knowledge on a comet from an interstellar comet. I mean, it's a big deal scientifically. If it is just some interstellar object, it's still important scientifically speaking. So why hide the information? And this is not one government. This is the European Union. It's America. It's China. It's Australia. There are a lot of people who have eyes on this thing recently, and a lot closer than America has had eyes on it. Where's the photos? Now, NASA claims that the reason they didn't pursue public footage of this was because of the government shutdown here in America. That's lunacy. You have something acting this odd in space, this big, it's doubled in size, it's acting all weird, and you know they didn't stop monitoring it because they've confirmed that they're sharing information with the European Union. So if they didn't stop monitoring it, how much really does it take, funding-wise, to flip the switch on their internet channel and post the video? I'm betting you can post a video of it in less than a minute, so it wouldn't cost anyone any huge hourly. So why hide it? Is the government shutdown specifically being orchestrated to shut down NASA? Some people think so. This is one of the theories out there, you guys. I told you it's literally everywhere. There are theories about this that go in every direction. And some of them are saying that the government shutdown is part of the reason, Three Eye Atlas is part of the reason for the government shutdown. They're saying that they didn't want us to have eyes on this thing. They wanted to have a justified reason for not showing it to the public. And I can understand, maybe that's just paranoia or something, but it's not just the Americans. The Chinese have not been sharing their information, and they had a craft close enough that they could have gotten some really decent photos of this thing, you guys. I mean, I don't know the mileage because it's huge. It's, like how big space is, you guys. But my point is it's their cameras and where our cameras were was a difference of taking like a photo from 1,000 feet away as opposed to 100. We would have gotten a lot better detail. But nobody's releasing the closer photos of this. And it just seems kind of weird. It seems like the entirety of the world's academic mindset has just stopped sharing actual news of this. Now, they all still talk about it, but talk is cheap. They're not showing us anything. They're not explaining any of these oddities. They're trying to. They are desperately trying to. But they're not explaining any of these oddities that 3i Atlas has. And it has, like I said, it has a lot of them. I'm going to look it up here again once more. Hold on one second. Apologize about that, you guys. Just make sure I ran through them all. Oh, yeah. Here's another one. See, I missed this one. There's so many strange things about this. It's got a high, extremely high carbon dioxide to water ratio in the comet's coma. Okay, that's the ball coming around the actual comet, the vapor cloud, as they call it, which they use to say that's the expansion we've seen. But like I said, the problem is this isn't acting like water vapor through the light and things. Astrophysicists have looked at it and said, this doesn't really look like a normal coma. It looks like a solid object opening. But if science is to be believed, what coma there is extremely high in carbon dioxide compared to water. It's something to the effect of, I believe, 8 times more than normal. It's abundant in metals, which is very important. Let me explain why, okay? There is one consensus that has been reached by everybody. There's more than one, but there is a consensus that has been reached by all scientific minds, and they have backtracked this thing on its trajectory it was on as it came into our known universe. Our galaxy. And it comes from its origin is supposedly from a part of space that is actually very low on metal content. Now, like I said, I don't know why this area of space is low on metal content. I don't pretend to know everything about space, you guys. I'm not an astronaut, I'm not an astrophysicist or anything like that. But what I do know is it seems to me that a comet that's got a very high metal, it's very large metal deposit, if not made of metal, to come from an area that has almost none, I mean very little comparatively to other parts of the universe. So it just seems weird to me that this thing is not only made of metal, coated in metal, hollow, producing its own light, possibly opening up, doubling in size. I mean, the fact that the freaking tail of this thing was pointed the wrong direction. For quite a while, the tail of this comet was pointed at the sun, the direction it was heading. Now, let me explain to you why this is impossible according to what they say they know about space. Solar winds coming from the sun are fairly freaking strong. It would be pushing the material, the dust, the debris, the gases behind the comet traveling at a velocity going forward. The solar winds would be pushing the dust in the opposite direction. But it wasn't. Not until recently. Now, yes, the tail flipped and the tail is on the back side now, but it wasn't. This comet was going forward with a tail in front of it. Like, these are just weird, weird things that are going on with this object. And for those of you who don't believe in space, that's fine. Why do you think they're showing us this, you know, on the dome? Why do you, I mean, talk to me in chat, you guys. If for those of you who don't believe this, what is the purpose of putting so much attention on Three Eye Atlas? And for those of you who do believe in space and that we are able to do things like use Hubble to look into deep space, why are they not sharing the photos of this thing up close? Why did they stop being honest with the information? As it was coming in and we couldn't really see much on the photos, they were perfectly happy to share the information then. But when it gets really close and we might be able to actually see some detail, all of a sudden it's lights off, no more funding. Well, that's fine, but that only explains America and our government shut down. What about other governments? Because from what I've been able to look up online, you guys, I can't find any government that's posted the closer photos. There are plenty of governments who supposedly have these craft closer than we are that should be able to photograph this thing, but nobody is. Is that because we don't have these craft on Mars, as some people have suggested? We don't have craft out in space? Is it because we do have the crafts out in space or on Mars, but we don't want to share the photos of what we've seen? They want to keep it classified. Maybe it's something harmful. Maybe it's something that they're just not sure of what to make of it. Maybe they have no answers at all. But it just seems weird that everybody stopped sharing the information the moment it was really needed. The moment the information would have been able to give us better answers, a closer look into what exactly this thing is. Now, people have been saying for a while that we would be under some kind of a supposed false flag attack from our own world leaders. An alien, you know what I mean? An alien Independence Day moment made to force us together as a world, to unite into a one world order, to fight the dangerous aliens. Could that be what this is? Could we see in December that Three Eye Atlas has doubled back on a course towards Earth? We're going to have to stay tuned on this one. We're going to have to keep our eyes peeled for new information. I will definitely be doing that for you guys, doing all the legwork, doing the research, and keeping my eyes and ears posted on anything new posted about the Three Eye Atlas. Now, me personally, I think it doesn't necessarily have to be one or the other. There are people who said this could just be some kind of a probe. Maybe it's not an active ship. Maybe it was just shot off in this direction so that they could gain knowledge about our star system. You have to remember, for those of you who believe in the typical explanations of most of space, we're relatively young, you guys. There are systems that are billions of years older than us. If we're supposedly putting things into space and orbit, satellites and things of this nature, who's to say some civilization that could be billions of years older than us didn't do the same thing long ago? Now, if this thing's not using some kind of wormhole to get here or hyperdrive, then it makes sense that it would be a probe, because they would get it going here as fast as they could, and then they would just let it coast. And yes, it would take tons of time to get here. But so what? I mean, how long did some of our satellites that we sent to the outer edges of our star system take? We waited, and we weren't even sure we were going to get information from them or not. We're like crossing our fingers going, maybe, you're telling me civilizations that could be billions, not just millions, billions of years older than us. And I'm sorry, but I really do believe that it's an arrogance thing with mankind to think that we're not alone. I do believe in people from other dimensions are visiting us as well, but I do believe that somewhere out there is a planet inhabited, many planets that are inhabited by intelligent life. The universes it's too vast, you guys, for us to be alone. It's not just too vast, it's too vast and too populated with possible life, just carbon life that we know of, like carbon-based life forms like ourselves. There's too many planets that could sustain carbon-based life now that we know how to look for them. We find them daily. So, is this someone reaching out to say hello? Is this someone who shot a probe to our little corner of the galaxy just to see what's out there? Maybe they have no intention of coming here. Maybe they just wanted to know what's here. I mean, think about it. Our space program did similar things, if you believe the stories. We wanted to know what's out there. What would stop another civilization from doing this? One that could have been doing this, like I said, millions, if not billions of years ago. It would sure have enough time to get here. I also think it's kind of interesting that these things, these interstellar objects, are showing up now. We've never detected interstellar objects before this coming into our, into our little neck of the woods here. But now we've got multiple that have just shown up out of nowhere recently. And I mean, all fairly close together. I mean, like I said, the Oumuamua was back in 2017? It doesn't seem to hit right, if you know what I mean. It seems wrong. There's something more to this that we're not getting told or that they don't know. Because there are things that they have not been able to scientifically explain about this comet that don't make sense to people with even a moderate understanding of physics, let alone people who are actual physicists. Like I said, I've been spending days, you guys, watching different physicists give lectures on this thing, and they're stunned. They're genuinely confused. I heard one of them refer to it as mind-boggling. I am not a genius, you guys. I'm ahead of the curve, but I am not a genius. But for a physicist, a well-respected man of academia, to come out and just go, this is mind-boggling. I don't understand so much about this. There are so many oddities happening to this object that it no longer fits the standard norm for a comet. Well, if it doesn't fit the standard norm for a comet, maybe it's not one. Maybe it is a ship. I mean, it's big enough to, if this thing expanded outwardly to double its size, it was already the size of Manhattan, man. That's pretty big. I mean, think about how many people you can hold in Manhattan. Could this be an alien craft with actual biological entities on it? Or is it just a comet? Or could it possibly be some kind of a probe sent here to gather intelligence? Only time's going to tell, you guys. And honestly, we're never, even if our governments find out, I doubt we'll ever know the true scope of what our governments found out about this object unless it comes directly here and proves what it is. Now, in December, there is the chance, like I said, that this thing could just move off into this distance and exit our little area of the universe here. But if it doesn't, if once again it stuns the scientific community and does something anomalous, this thing has already changed trajectory on its own. We don't understand how. It wasn't a big move, you guys, which is why I didn't bring it up earlier, but it has changed its own trajectory and it has slowed down. Now, people argue that it slowed down because it's being beaten by elements of the sun's emissions. Well, to that I say, there was actually a recorded emission from the sun that scientists were saying they were worried that this emission was going to be enough force to actually destroy the comet, to fracture it into multiple pieces. It had no effect. it was hit by this emission from the sun and nothing happened. There was no fracture. Now, it was still a very, very good distance from the sun, you guys, obviously. But we know the power of the sun, and we know how hard some of these emissions can come out. This thing is acting so strangely that it's really just at this point become a curiosity of mine, because I like the strange. I like the unexplained. And there is so much unexplained here. It's oozing from both sides. What is it? Where is it from? What is it made of? Why does it appear to be hollow? What was emitting the light? So many questions. What do you guys in chat think? Let's say put a, put it down to just a short. I don't want everyone typing, big old paragraphs. Put down just a short, do you believe it's just another comment? Do you believe it's something else? What do you believe Three Eye Atlas is? Because whatever it is isn't behaving normally. And like I said, if this is just something on the on the dome that we're seeing, why? What is the point of it? What is the point of this distraction if it's not a genuine scientific curiosity that we're observing? Why would they want the world focused on this? Because this is in every major paper or magazine. I mean, good God, Popular Mechanics did an article on it. So, what do you guys think this is? Let me know. One of the other things that's weird, you guys, I want to talk about as far as the timing of all of this is it's not just Three Eye Atlas, and I'm not going to go too deep into this because I do want to stay on topic, but it's not just this weird thing, you guys. All of the weird things in our world, the supernatural and the odd, just seem to be coming out of the woodwork right now. Hauntings are up. I mean, cryptid sightings are through the roof. Alien UFO sightings are through the roof. There's so much wrong right now in our world. There was actually a photo a guy took online in the forest claiming that he sees something that looked like he described it as a dimensional, what he would believe a dimensional rift would look like. And I have to admit, after seeing the photo, it was disturbing. I apologize, I don't have it because I was looking on my phone, not my laptop. But maybe I'll post a future video on it. Another oddity. I said sightings are on the rise. It's everything weird is on the rise, you guys. Loch Ness Monster. Do you guys know there's been like freaking 10 or more sightings of it this year? There's like a ridiculous, there was literally a sighting this month in October reported. Large, huge wakes that the size of fish they have in the loch can't produce. Huge wakes. Bubbles that are not freaking trapped carbon dioxide emissions from the mud, which is ridiculous. Yes, I know that happens, but they say that every time they see unexplained amounts of air coming out of the water, carbon dioxide, whatever it is. Just many shots of things that look like its head coming out of the water. Now, is this all coincidence? Why does this all seem to be happening at once? Why is it the supernatural seems to be just increasing in general? And it's not supernatural, surely just the odd, the strange things in our world and universe seem to be amping up. I'm actually going to do a video for you guys on the Loch Ness thing here next. One of my next videos, actually. Just because it's another one of those things that we just can't explain, and it's picking up in frequency. Every cryptid you can think about, you guys, Bigfoot to the Chupacabra to the Lobron, they're all picking up in sightings more and more frequently. Skinwalkers, all of them. Why? What's causing this shift? Hauntings are the same way. Haunted reportings are up like 500% in the last 10 years, you guys. And people try to blame it on the things like, well, there's a lot of TV shows that made it popular. So people are just reporting fake hauntings and now it's screwing with the statistics. But it doesn't seem to cover the numbers we're seeing of increase. Okay. I mean, not everyone in the freaking, not even a third of the United States necessarily has time to sit there and watch a lot of these ghost hunting shows. Yes, they have viewers. The viewers are not the majority of countries around the world. These things are being seen and reported on a more and more frequent basis. And I just think it's odd that yet another oddity in Three Eye Atlas is going on right now in this period in history. I'm starting to think that super smart kid, I wish I remembered his name off the top of my head, the genius child, I believe he's from Russia, who predicted that CERN, I don't know if you guys have heard this theory, he predicted that, he didn't predict, he said that he believes CERN may have actually ripped reality, made a tear in reality, or a tear in dimensions. Could this have something to do with the spike that we've just been seeing that is just progressing and progressing since the early 2000s? Did we somehow cross, mix, or, otherwise damage our reality? Or merge it with another reality? Then these are the thoughts that keep me out of the good schools. No, these are the thoughts that I love because, honestly, in all honesty, that's why I love talking about this stuff, is because this is the places my mind goes. What's causing this shift? What's causing the weird in our world? Okay, because the weird, I got a large weird meter, man, and it's already pretty high right now. And Three Eye Atlas is not helping, not with all the oddities it's got. So I just want to say real quick before the end of the video, I appreciate all of you guys for watching my videos, sharing my videos, hyping my videos, all of it. I really, really do. My members, you guys know I love you. All my brothers followers who came and showed me love and joined my channel and are now, following me as well. I appreciate all of you guys, even my non-subscribers. Your views watching this video right now really helps out my channel. Watching the entire video through, not skipping or fast forwarding, also helps my analytics. So I really appreciate you guys. I appreciate all you guys have done. I love all of you guys. As I've said before, without you, there is no me. And I will do my best to keep bringing you the news of the weird. Once again, thanks for joining me. This has been Adam. I'm signing off from Straight Jacket White Rabbit. Good night, you guys.